We're excited to be back with an update on the STRAAD Institute, an initiative of STRAAD Consulting that's been running for the past year. And we wanted to give you a reminder of the story, what we've accomplished, and where we see the STRAAD Institute going. So a little bit of back and forth between Megan and I today. Megan, I'm going to start with the opening question. What is the STRAAD Institute?
Yeah, the STRAAD Institute is our latest innovation, our latest product offering that we've been bringing to market for the last year. But it's probably fair to define what STRAAD is and who we are and where we've been spending our time to get to this point. So STRAAD is now 11 years old. It's hard to believe. And the firm was founded on the principle that strategy and leadership are both required to lead meaningful change, big transformation, at key inflection points for leaders. And so over the last, 11 years, we, Ayanna, you and I, our team, have all been hearing this ongoing ask, this ongoing need. When we've been supporting our clients in big transformation, how might they develop their leaders to either rise to the occasion or sustain the work moving forward? And we, in our advisory practice and our consulting support, kept looking around for ways to partner or, other service providers, other coaches to bring in to bolster the support. And lo and behold, it became opportunity for us to step into. And so the STRAAD Institute has been listening, has been our own discerning of the leadership support, the leadership development, the leadership formation required to be able to support and equip leaders to step in to big transformational work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. If you ask me the question, what is the
Sure.
STRAAD Institute?
What is the STRAAD Institute, Ayanna?
I would say yes to everything you said, and it is a learning community. It is a high performance learning community. And after 11 years of being in this work, we have also distilled some really proprietary perspectives on, call it intellectual property, on what makes for future ready leaders. We talk about the future ready performance system within that, a leadership system, an organizational system, deep questions about what makes for performance, and what are the skills and competencies, fancy words like dynamics and disciplines required for leaders to take ownership of their development, and at another level, ownership of their formation. The work we get to do in the Institute of these learning communities has multiple directions. There is inward work, who you are, your character, how you show up in the world, your own narrative of formation and development, how that influences your leadership. There's outward work on the organizational system, the big categories of strategy and strategic clarity, and strategic direction, strategic translation, execution, how work happens in teams and organizations. And then this whole rich conversation around designing for a culture that creates the future you're trying to build toward. So there's the inward, there's the outward, and then there's the performance aspect of how do you animate all of that for the sake of actually moving toward goals and outcomes. Some like to call that results. So we get to think about this institute at multiple levels and thoughtful ways, right? And so we're really excited about that. Megan, here's a question for you. We have now run 4 cohorts, each of them with a small curated 8 to 10 person class of senior executives in the room. What have we learned about these humans, and what have we seen by way of impact on them?
Yeah, it's been a real delight, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're learning a few things about these humans. The first thing is their own delight and their own, you can just see it in the room, deep breath, to be able to step away from the day-to-day and have focused, confidential, intimate space to explore their leadership, to explore and see their own system in a different way, and to reevaluate how they want to show up for the sake of whatever their results, whatever their sense of impact may want to be. And it's
Mhm.
pretty special to move from, you know, the intake calls to, you know, the days together and help them settle in to this space away, this time away. So I think that's been really important. And I'd say the other thing that's really emerged is their own sense of scope.
Mm.
Our intellectual property, the gifts that we're putting onto paper, into
Yeah.
frameworks, helps them see what's being asked of them, either explicitly or implicitly, helps them map, you know, what's maybe an area of strength. I've got this. What's an area of stuck? And what are signals that they've been feeling, seeing that now are in a frame that they can relate with, locate?
Mhm.
And so I think we've also really heard that scoping future ready leadership, scoping future ready performance with and for them has given them a sense of agency and a sense of inspiration around what might be next.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
beautiful. The other
Mhm.
thing I'm noticing with these executive leaders, executive ready leaders coming in, that's been delightful has been their own clear hunger
Mm.
and acknowledgement of readiness for another level of depth. They're
Mhm.
not here to be consumeristic learners. Just
No.
give me a thing, check the box. They are craving spaces to show up with beyond buzzwords, the real meaning of the words, vulnerability,
Mhm.
with accountability to one another, with
Mhm.
rigorous honesty about what makes their current work and their future ambitions challenging. To your point, where they're really getting stuck and they're
Mhm.
leaning into each other. Trust shows up,
Mhm. Mhm.
respect is named, mutuality is practiced. And when we can hear, our participants say things like, this doesn't exist anywhere else for me,
Mhm.
I know that we're making a difference and
Mhm.
that it's something that is translating back into their leadership and their workplace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the
Mhm.
other things I really have loved in our cohorts is when we hear our participants say something like the following: I finally have language
Mhm.
to express what I've been sensing and what I am living.
Mhm.
And so, I'm really proud that we are building this institute, these experiences where new vocabulary, refreshed framing, new ways of speaking about the truths of what is sticky and hard and complex. Now, we're arming these future ready leaders with ways of speaking about that.
Yeah, often folks are recognizing
Mhm.
what you and I believe so strongly, which is leadership is a profession. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
And their
the
readiness
depth,
and willing.
yeah, and their excitement, where they're like,
Their
yes,
excitement.
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Megan,
it. That's what I feel.
it's awesome. Let's say something just explicitly around the design of
Sure.
the first offering of the Institute. We have run 4 cohorts of the first course, which is called the Future Ready Leadership Course Experience. Megan, just take us through enter, engage, exit.
Great. Well, as a participant, you apply in, and we have a phone call, a discussion with you. You said something earlier around how highly curated these cohorts are, and we're listening for diversity of participant, diversity of experience, the right mix of folks. And so, as folks are applying in, we're trying our hardest to be able to ensure that folks have a good experience. Therefore, what cohort are they in? And so that's the first step, is an intake call with us. And from there, folks are warmed up. The course starts before the 3 days, absolutely. And folks are given an experience where they can go deep on who they are, reflection questions, some readings to inspire, and then they land with you where they have a great discovery executive coaching call where you are
Mhm.
helping them open up, helping them see themselves differently, helping them warm up their own sense of exploration, experimentation, learning mindset. So we think that's really important for readiness into the 3 days. And then we virtually get everyone together, do introductions, warm up the room, so to speak, remind everybody of the confidentiality terms that we've signed in order to engage well. And we land into the 3 days. And the 3 days are meant to be highly immersive. We're pulling on our own practices of facilitation, advisory, executive coaching, peer forum design. And so this isn't us standing at the front of the room,
Right.
lecturing on concepts or teaching models and leaving the room to, think about it. This is us in a highly facilitative workshop environment where everyone is able to bring their system, bring their leadership challenge, bring their opportunities into the room and on the table. And collectively, we take them apart, apply in new concepts, new learnings, new frames, and help folks be integrating real time, so that they're walking away in a different place with a different sense of possibility on their next step. Following the session, we close out with all the great content that participants would have experienced, and they land again with you to practice where they want to apply differently, what they want to focus on next. And for many, it's an exceptional experience of, the wrap of executive coaching and the power of executive coaching in and around a 3-day experience.
It's really great. Just to be explicit about it, this is pulling on some of the most leading edge adult forms of learning, adult pedagogy. This is for some called action learning. For some, this is theory and practice. For us, we are integrative and interdisciplinary firm in the way that we approach. So it's really about learning, application, and integration happening seamlessly, and the confidence that there's wisdom in the room. We're bringing great, future forward content, and there's wisdom in the room. So part of the curation, and you spoke to diversity, is that the cross section of industries, the cross sections of tenure, the cross section of geographies, even nations, depending on where the cohort is being sourced from, all of that adds to the richness that is in the room. So what's next, I think, is a reasonable question for the STRAAD Institute. We've done our first year, and we're delighted to say that we've moved from hypothesis out of 10 years into true clarity that this is something that adds value. There are other videos that you'll have access to that some of our participants have very generously shared about some of the impact that they have experienced and taken back into their places of leadership. And as we look into the rest of 2026 and around the corner to 2027, a few things are emerging. There will be more cohorts, and so there's rolling admission happening all the time. So we invite you to suggest names, encourage others, put yourself up, own your own formation. So those cohorts are happening in Canada and in the US, and locations and dates will be rolling out shortly. In addition, individuals are already asking for the next additive levels. How do we go deeper, go wider, take more time to sit with these and really test application integration phases? So we'll be launching a credential path to build on your future ready leadership, and that will also be rolling out more information to follow in the fall of 2026. The field research continues. The books are being published. The products are being created. And to say it out loud, this is, again, meant to be additive to the great work that STRAAD has been doing over the past decade plus. And so we continue to look forward to be in conversation with our current clients who are stewarding the way forward of future-ready leadership and strategic change, and to be in conversation with many of you out there who have been looking, waiting, hungry for this practical, real approach to taking seriously your profession of leadership. Thanks so much, Megan Lou. Off we go. Take care, everyone.